Well, today I have a problem with Fox News reporting. Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and today we have an incident of two separate shootings with two very different outcomes. The first fatal police shooting was of Ashli Babbitt during the January 6th Capitol Hill riots. The second fatal police shooting was of Daunte Wright during a traffic stop that quickly escalated when there was a resist of arrest and the police officer pulled her gun thinking she had her taser. Two very distinct fatal police shootings with two very different outcomes. Let's just start with Ashli Babbitt, and I have a problem with Fox News reporting on this subject. Capitol riot. Police officer won't face charges in fatal shooting of Ashli Babbitt, prosecutors say. Prosecutors determined that there is insufficient evidence to support a criminal prosecution. The Department of Justice, DOJ, will not pursue charges against the U.S. Capitol Police officer who allegedly shot and killed Ashli Babbitt during the Jan 6 riot in Washington, D.C., officials announced Wednesday. An investigation conducted by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia determined, quote, that there is insufficient evidence to support a criminal prosecution, end quote, the department said in a statement. Now, I know that it is standard reporting protocol to use the term allegedly when describing certain acts, but there is no allegedly involved here. The police officer shot and killed Ashli Babbitt. They investigated as much, so they're not denying the shooting, they're just denying whether or not there is sufficient evidence to support a prosecution. So I take some issue with Fox News saying that the police officer allegedly shot and killed Ashli Babbitt. We know that to be for a fact. The only question was whether or not it was criminal. But my issue with the Fox News reporting does not end there. Authorities had considered for months whether criminal charges were appropriate for the Capitol Police officer who fatally shot Ashli Babbitt, 35, an Air Force veteran from San Diego. The Justice Department's decision, though expected, officially closes out the investigation. Reading this, why are they not using the term allegedly here like they used in the previous paragraphs? Here they're making a definitive statement. In the introductory paragraphs, they were just saying she was allegedly shot and killed by an officer. Okay, but whatever, maybe I'm just wordsmithing and nitpicking for the sake of it, but I really have a problem with how they end this article. Prosecutors said they had reviewed video of the shooting along with statements from the officer involved and other officers and witnesses, examined physical evidence from the scene, and reviewed the autopsy results. Babbitt is one of 5 people who died in or outside the Capitol on Jan 6, including a police officer. 3 other people died of medical emergencies. Now this bothers me because Ashli Babbitt did not die like the others died of medical emergencies. Ashli Babbitt was shot and killed, and to not describe it that way does an injustice to what happened to her. To describe Ashli Babbitt as having died as though she died under remotely similar circumstances as the others who died of medical emergencies, 2 of a stroke and 1 of a heart attack from what I recollect, is an absolute injustice to Ashli Babbitt. Now you may believe that the shooting was or was not justified, but to say that Ashli Babbitt died is linguistically and factually incorrect. She was killed. And to include others who died of medical emergencies in the same sentence as Ashli Babbitt sort of gives the impression that more people met the same fate as Ashli Babbitt that day, which is also incorrect. If one were being cynical, it gives the impression that Fox News, like the other news outlets, wants to have the number of deaths on the January 6th riots as high as possible for political or media purposes. Alright, that is my beef with Fox News and their reporting on the Ashli Babbitt incident. It's a short article because it's breaking news, although it's not clear there's going to be any more news on it. No charges being filed against that officer. Agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below. Moving on to the Daunte Wright fatal police shooting, and guess what? Yes, there are charges being filed in that case, and this is what Robert Barnes has to say about that situation. Contrast hashtag Ashli Babbitt case with hashtag Daunte Wright. Both shot by police. Difference? One faced a warrant for prior charges of armed robbery when accidentally shot while seeking to escape arrest. The other was deliberately shot for trespass on public property. Guess which cop charged? We will definitely be talking about this during our next live stream this coming Sunday, but right now let's just go over the facts as reported by Fox. Daunte Wright shooting. Ex-Minnesota police officer Kim Potter to be charged with second-degree manslaughter. Potter was arrested Wednesday morning by Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension agents. Local prosecutors in Minnesota on Wednesday are expected to charge former Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter with second-degree manslaughter in the death of 20-year-old Daunte Wright as civil unrest has persisted for 3 consecutive nights with demonstrations spilling into Minneapolis. Washington County Attorney Pete Orput is expected to announce the second-degree manslaughter charge later Wednesday. Orput did not immediately return a voicemail left by Fox News on Wednesday. The charge carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison, according to the Associated Press. No need to rely on the Associated Press, let's just go straight to the statute and see what it says. 2020 Minnesota statutes, 609.205, manslaughter in the second degree. A person who causes the death of another by any of the following means is guilty of manslaughter in the second degree and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 10 years or to payment of a fine of not more than $20,000 or both. And I think it's only subparagraph 1 that applies, by the person's culpable negligence, whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk and consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm to another. And for those of you who may be unfamiliar with the facts in the Daunte Wright incident, apparently Daunte Wright had been pulled over for having expired tags, and when they ran his plate, they learned that he had a warrant out for his arrest. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and when he was placed under arrest, apparently he got back into the car to attempt to flee, and the police officer, thinking she had her taser and was about to tase him, apparently shot him. Body camera footage shows Wright struggling with police when a female officer shouts, quote, "I'll tase you, taser, taser, taser," end quote. She draws her weapon after the man breaks free from police and gets back into the car. After firing a single shot, the car speeds away, and Potter says, quote, "Holy blank, I shot him," end quote. So in the Daunte Wright case, you have a man with a warrant out for his arrest who is resisting arrest, trying to get back into his car to flee the scene, and a police officer, thinking that she has her taser, actually pulled her gun, shot him once in the chest, and he went on to crash the car and die. And Ben Crump has to come into the scene. I don't know much about Ben Crump except for what everybody says about Ben Crump, but this is what Ben Crump has to say about this particular incident. Ben Crump, a prominent civil rights attorney representing the families of Floyd and Wright, claimed in a statement released in reaction to the charge decision that Potter shooting Wright was, quote, "no accident," end quote, as, quote, "driving while black continues to result in a death sentence," end quote. Quote, "While we appreciate that the district attorney is pursuing justice for Daunte, no conviction can give the Wright family their loved one back. This was no accident. This was an intentional, deliberate, and unlawful use of force. Driving while black continues to result in a death sentence," end quote. Crump said Wednesday in a joint statement with co-counsel Jeff Storms and Antonio Romanucci. And if it changes anything in your assessment, the article at the end goes on to explain what exactly were the charges that were outstanding against Daunte Wright. According to Hennepin County District Court documents obtained by Fox News, Wright was charged with first-degree aggravated robbery in a December 2019 incident in Osseo, Minnesota. He was released on $100,000 bail. His bail was revoked in July because he allegedly possessed a firearm and was not keeping in touch with his probation officer. Now, I happen to feel that the Daunte Wright and Ashli Babbitt incidents are too fundamentally different to have any useful comparisons. Now, when it comes to Ben Crump saying that this was an intentional act when the video body cam footage from the incident quite clearly says otherwise, there I have an issue. That being said, when you have people taking issue with the fact that the officer in the Daunte Wright shooting is being charged with second-degree manslaughter, I also have questions, because you literally have her on camera saying, "I thought I had my taser when I pulled my gun and I ended up shooting someone that I only intended to tase." Yes, he had an outstanding warrant for his arrest for a very serious crime. Yes, he was trying to avoid arrest and flee the scene, but you have the officer saying, "I thought I pulled my taser when I pulled my gun." She may have a defense and she is entitled to a trial, but I don't think anybody can really object to those charges being brought given her own admission at the time. To be discussed with Robert Barnes during our next live stream. I know what I think, I know what I know, I know what I don't know, and I know that my opinion right now is susceptible to change as additional facts emerge, but that is the news as of the time of making this vlog. And with that said, if you like my videos, you like my content, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment in the comment section below because it feeds the algorithm. If you want to support the channel, all of the support links are in the pinned comment. We've got PayPal, Patreon, subscribe to our YouTube membership. We've got merch, and I just got my new shirt today, Anti-Media. Robert Barnes and I also have a page on Locals, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. We do weekly interviews every Wednesday called The Sidebar. All of my videos are also on Rumble, but more important than anything, take care of yourselves, check in on friends and family, and make sure everyone around you is doing well. And now you know your vlog. Peace out.